Now we're going to examine how the web scales through caching and protocol evolution. Rather than focusing on implementation details, we're going to explore why caches exist, why they reduce delay and load, and how HTTP evolved to address performance limits revealed by those real-world usages. A large portion of the web traffic consists of repeated requests for the same resources. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, your browser, your computer, is constantly sending multiple requests for the same information or to repeat information that was lost in transit. When content must travel long distances, we have latency, which accumulates, and that performance suffers. This is why your data speeds drop a lot of times. If you're ever playing video games and you're like, I'm supposed to have 1.2 gigs per second, and then why am I lagging? What's going on? It's because of those errors, right? Caching addresses this by storing content closer to the user and reducing both the delay and the network load. Web caches sit between the client and origin servers and intercepts requests. If content is available locally, the cache responds directly, avoiding that unnecessary traffic. Why send out for something brand new when I've already visited? If I've already gone to Google and I know what Google's homepage looks like, why change it? Why go through that entire process, right? This process is transparent to the client and it preserves that correct application behavior. Remember that caching reduces the response time by shortening the physical and logical path the content must travel. If it's already on my local systems, I don't have to go all the way to Timbuktu, right? Origin servers experience less load. This improves our reliability and our scalability. If I'm not hammering a server and not everybody else is hammering the same server, it's done locally. That's going to reduce the load on the server, which reduces the network traffic, which reduces everything else. This makes it a lot simpler across the board. At a global scale, caches significantly reduce the redundant traffic across the internet. That is our goal. Caching introduces the risk that content becomes, however, outdated. Serving stale data undermines the correctness for the user trust, and HTTP includes mechanisms to validate that cached content before we reuse it. We can do a conditional get. This allows a cache to ask whether the stored copy is still valid. Do I have the latest and greatest, or do I need to update it? If unchanged, the server confirms without rescinding the object. This approach preserves the correctness while avoiding that unnecessary transmission. If I don't need to communicate, why would I? HTTP 1.1 improved the performance through persistent connections, but limitations still remained. Large objects could block smaller ones. This delayed our page outputs and rendering, and packet loss was stalled all transfer sharing a connection. With HTTP 2, we introduced multiplexing. This reduced blocking and improved efficiency, and with HTTP 3, we evolved the protocol to address transport layer constraints. These changes reflect how the real world uses drives and our protocol evolution as we've gone through. During peak hours, millions of users request the same popular content. If you've ever played World of Warcraft at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These caches absorb this demand. They prevent the origin servers and the backend loads from collapsing. And without caching, the protocol evolution, the modern web, we would not be able to scale it. It would not come into play. All right, we discussed how caching and protocols evolved. We identified performance improvements that emerged from observing real bottlenecks, and we've identified how these mechanisms directly shape what we observe in HTTP traffic analysis.